Yes, and the worst part about this thing as a whole is that the casual sports fan might not even know who Mike Trout is.
Oh yeah,
like if he was walking down the street,
you couldn't point him out.
No,
like I know him just because like I follow sports a lot,
right?
So like I've seen his face, but even then, like he wouldn't stand out straight out to me. Oh, that's Mike Trout. It'd take me a second.
LA?
Yeah. Oh, if I saw him in LA walking down the street, nah, I would like
big and clean shaven, wearing a ball cap. That's every
no.
That's yeah, man. Oh my god.
But he got 12 years, $430 million extension. He's gonna be making $35.8 million, I think, a year, and that's like without the bonuses and stuff. So like I was listening to Dan Le Batard earlier. They had the dude that made the like broke the news on there, and he was talking about that's just the contract alone. That doesn't include incentives, bonuses, and other stuff. So like for as far we know, like the next 12 years, he could be making like close to 500. Like that contract essentially could be up to the 500 million range, and that's not even counting endorsements, because I'm sure he's got some sort of endorsements and stuff. I think he's like a Nike or Under Armour, one of those athlete and whatever stuff. But it's just interesting with like baseball and the market of it, and like baseball is the third most popular sport in America right now.
Yeah.
And their athletes get paid the most money, and I was listening to the Dan Le Batard show, and it made sense kind of like why they paid him that. Apparently the Angels are like, they signed this $3 billion TV deal, which like I mean
bananas.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like their market is Anaheim, which like Anaheim's a great area and stuff like that, outskirts of LA, but that's not exactly LA and stuff. And it's sunny California. And even like it's interesting, their stadium. Their stadium is in a good area, I guess. It's just weird because it's like that whole like it looks like it's in the middle of nowhere, but there's actually stuff around it. But if you just like fly over it, it's just a stadium like surrounded by a parking lot right by the highway. But yeah, it was just, I mean, I guess if you got it, dish it. It's just weird when you look at it in perspective to sports like basketball, where like the individual player matters more in basketball than they do in baseball. So like one player won't affect like the outcome of a team's whole play.
Yeah, not quite like basketball.
No. So, yeah, and it's one of those where it's like NBA players are looking at them like, dang, he got paid. NFL players looked at like, NFL players got to be the most upset.
I know. And we talked about this we talked about this last time, where it's like,
yeah, because we've talked about it on the NBA side.
My body gets beat up every day, every Sunday.
Yeah,
and we getting scraps compared to some of these.
And it's worse with baseball, even because like, bro, baseball's baseball takes the least toll on your body comparatively to the other sports when you think about it. And so, yeah, especially if I'm a football player, I'm especially mad. Like, I am risking CTE. Like, I got to get shot up before every game, after every game, just to perform my job. And, like, with every sport, there's injury and stuff. But, like, the injuries in baseball comparatively to football don't add up at all.
No.
Don't add up at all. And so this just even feeds more into like the career the player bargaining agreement, whatever, the CBA, collective bargaining agreement coming up. We said next year, 2020. So
Yeah, after the next complete season.
Yeah, but NFL players got to hold out. They got to hold out. Y'all got to do something. Y'all got to do something.
Yeah, they just recently were at the table within the past couple weeks, which I don't know how early they start.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, they started having some discussions.
But I'm glad that they're starting this far ahead because obviously what they want to avoid is a lockout. That helps nobody. But yeah.
But the funniest thing about this signing and all is, man, Bryce Harper held out all season. Made a whole big deal of it.
I will say this, though.
And he was the highest paid player for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And it's not even like they just upped him by a couple. Because he upped, what? Manny Machado was $300 million for 10 years, right?
300, and then Bryce got, what, 330?
330 for 12. Mm-hmm. And so when it breaks down... No, for 13. Bryce was 13 for 30. Mm-hmm. And so he got maybe a couple mil more than Manny. And his whole goal was he wanted to be the highest paid. And it's funny because, like, the Angels didn't have to do this right now. Like, his contract wasn't up till next season. Or I think, whenever. Yeah, everyone was looking at next season. That's when, like, he was going to be... Mike Trout was going into contract negotiations and stuff. And the Angels just, out of nowhere, like, you know what? We're going to sign him for the next 12 years. Bryce, you got 330. We're going to pay him $100 million more for 1 year less than what your contract. Like, Bryce has got to be so furious.
I will say this. Bryce is nice. He didn't have as good of a season last year, but if Bryce is getting 330, Mike Trout is 100% worth $430 million.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a baseball guy, okay? And when I say that, I love baseball. I've been watching baseball since I was very little, huge Giants fan, which is why right now baseball is a very heartbreaking subject. However, if you don't know about Mike Trout's stats, you need to. He is unquestionably the best player in baseball. And if Bryce Harper was getting 330, it makes sense that Mike Trout is getting 430. But the number is just so ridiculous given how
you've never seen it before.
Where it isn't him that MLB is already terrible at marketing its stars. Yeah. It is the absolute
it's so bad.
Worst. The NHL has surpassed the MLB as far as marketing its players' personalities.
Yeah.
Which is nuts because I thought NHL was going to be in the depths forever. I just don't understand dishing $430 million because I'm like, where does y'all's money come? Like where does y'all's money actually come from?
That TV deal apparently.
Insane.
Which that's the other infuriating thing because I'm like, yo, these NFL teams gotta be having some insane TV deals themselves. And so if I'm the players, I'm like everyone knows the NFL like NFL management owners got the money to pay these players. It's just it's just the like collective bargaining and all that.
Right.
So like this whole just past year with different like the NBA and now this like I'm going into that meeting. I'm
with slides. Exhibit A.
Yep. Like once again, I'm just throwing up Kelly Olynyk. He makes more than
bro. Timothy Mozgov, bro.
Timothy got 4 years, $44 million a couple years ago.
$50 million contract.
Yes. Timothy got paid.
Oh no.
More than
a 12 and a half.
Timothy was paid more than Antonio Brown 3 years ago. 3 years ago. It's so dumb. It is so freaking dumb. But hey, I mean, get it how you can. Like, like how? What do you even like do after you sign a contract? Like, and it's because it's one thing if he's like a flashy, like, you know, like
he put like it's one thing if he puts butts in the seats.
Well, not even that. Like I'm saying, like an Antonio Brown, like he shows his money, like he spends his money and stuff like that. Mike Trout, Mike Trout, like and part of it, we don't see anything of him because, once again, baseball is terrible at marketing their players. / like Mike Trout especially isn't a loud, boisterous guy. Like compared to Bryce Harper, everyone knows because Bryce Harper is probably one of the more familiar faces of baseball because he's a flashy type of whatever.
A year ago, I literally read an article on ESPN talking about why Mike Trout shouldn't win the MVP because he's boring. That's the type of player that Mike Trout is. He's not like he's just a baseball player.
He's just
and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
He's just it made me laugh that a baseball person was complaining about this because I'm like, what are you talking about? The MLB doesn't like y'all have had some of the greatest athletes of all time, Ken Griffey Jr., Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, right? Like you've had some of the greatest players and the biggest personalities of all time, and outside of like hardcore baseball fans, these people are going to they're going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame and die, and nobody outside the sport of baseball is going to remember these dudes.
Nope. Yeah.
And it's super sad. Because it's like if I say Nolan Ryan to the average sports fan, they'd be like, yeah, I have no idea who that is.
Nope.
It's like it's one of the best pitchers of all time. It's like, so it's like that's what we'll remember about Mike Trout. We won't remember that he put up absurd numbers.
And the way they talk, they talk about him right now, they're talking about like he can go down as one of like the greatest baseball player of all time.
Yes.
Not like
in every measurable category, the dude is amazing.
Yeah, like I hear like them talk about it and stuff, and like I don't know, like I hear the baseball ERA and all this stuff, and I'm like, none of that. I don't understand what any of that language, but sure, he sounds pretty good if you say so.
Right.
But hey, get yours, man.
There's been
knowing him, he probably like, hey, just signed his contract. Let me get this Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I'm at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, go and get some Taco Bell.
In and Out. Where is he at? He's in Anaheim, right?
Anaheim. Oh yeah. You know, gotta go to In and Out. That's a Salvatore. Sure.
But there's been all kinds of money moves, bro.
No.
All kinds of money moves going on. I found out. I'll start with a small one. I found out T-Mobile is acquiring Sprint, and I was like,
oh, yeah, I knew about that.
Yeah. Well, I knew it was happening, but those things take time. I just forgot it was happening until like yesterday. And I was like, dang, that is going to be ridiculous.
The big one that went official like today, Disney getting Fox.
That's the one I want to talk about.
That one, which is,
that's the one. That's the 70,
monopoly.
Oh, boy.
Is outrageous.
There are so many things even outside of like the Marvel implications that are insane, because if you think about sports, we're talking about the company that currently owns ESPN now owns ESPN and Fox. Like, think about what that means for sports.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Like that's dumb. $71 billion. So I saw a tweet just a few minutes ago that said, if there's an X-Men end credit scene in Endgame, I will weep. I will weep like a small child.
Well, it's going to be interesting because, I mean, they got a new X-Men coming out right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this one's still with Fox.
Yep.
And that one's with us. What's the crazy chick?
Phoenix?
Is that who is it?
Yeah,
it's the one that's
based off the Dark Phoenix saga when Jean Grey goes nuts.
Yeah, with Jean, that's who it is. Yeah. Which like, and it, like the movie looks really good. I don't know why, because like the X-Men movies, the ones I've seen in the past, are really good and stuff, but it's never been one for me where I'm like, oh, I gotta go see immediately.
Right.
And I think part of that reason is just I think it's probably the marketing of it and all. It's just. It's different when Disney does it, because like when Disney does it, like there's no way you're missing it, or like you're not like
nobody markets like Disney.
Yeah, Disney just gets you excited for it, and you're like, all right, I'm in.
They're the entertainment version of Apple.
Yeah,
like they are top down all their teams, because they have different teams and stuff and different divisions. But it's
like the only
absolutely incredible
Disney Marvel movie I've yet to see in theater was. Like the second Ant-Man, and then what was it? Doctor Strange. Those were like the only ones, but all the other ones like.
So you have not seen those two?
No.
Okay.
I need to go watch Ant-Man, the second one.
2's relevant.
Yeah, I heard 2's relevant, and so I'm trying to watch that.
The second one is not, or the Doctor Strange is not really relevant to what's going on right now. It's a dope movie though.
Yeah.
It is a dope movie.
Yeah, but
Kinda
back to Disney and
Whew.
yeah, so they basically did all that acquisition, and then it's interesting now because it's so Disney's tied with Apple basically in a way because Apple has their spring event coming up next Monday, and that's where they're basically announcing they have some new iPads and stuff like that, and then they're also announcing their streaming service, which I don't know if theirs is separate from Disney's, because the reason Disney pulled all their content was to announce their streaming service, and so I gotta see if it's tied. So there's like, I think that's the same streaming service because Disney and Apple are basically like just conjoined.
I do believe that they're going to be separate.
Okay. That would.
But yeah, I'm surprised Apple didn't get into it sooner with Apple TV. I'm actually kind of surprised because Apple TV's been around for a minute.
Yeah, but Apple typically isn't like has really hasn't ever been on the front end of like anything groundbreaking when you think about it. Mine is like initial starts with the phones, but as far as like Spotify. Like Spotify came out first and stuff like that, and then they came along with theirs. They like come into the race always late, but they're quick
really,
at catching up.
Yeah, they're really good at taking tech that's already out there and making it top of the line.
Yeah. And so they're not like as far as like having the idea, and part of it I think even is like they probably do have the ideas, and I think other people know Disney have the ideas, and so they rush to break it out first.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney's or like Apple's like, yo, like we don't need to rush this. We could fine tune this, make it as like perfect as we need it, and we could roll it out whenever. And like the greatest example of that is the AirPods.
Oh yeah,
I've been waiting for freaking forever now for them to release the second AirPods. I bought some back in October. After their last event because I thought they were going to announce it then. And when I was in the store and I was like, hey, do you know when they're going to announce the new AirPods? And the guy was like, he really didn't have an idea, but he was like, part of it is like they've been a huge success and like they're selling out like crazy right now. So like Disney has or Apple has no rush to like release new ones. It's like they're selling great right now. Why need a force it? And especially, and they benefited from almost like the meme Twitter culture because that's when literally, I don't know what started
y'all
it.
thought y'all was being funny, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what started it, but it was just over the last Christmas, like fall, like over the last holiday break, like you saw all the memes about AirPods and stuff, and legit, December 26th, everybody had an AirPod. Everybody. And I thought it was just a meme and stuff. It was just like, dang. It got ridiculous to the point because I had bought mine in October, and I ain't wearing mine in public for a couple weeks because I was like, look, I don't want y'all thinking, look, I just got this for Christmas and stuff, and like part of the look, I've been had this, all right, stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was just crazy.
Now, did they ship? Because they dropped those the same year as the iPhone X, correct?
Yes,
I want to say
I'm pretty sure.
Did they ship with the phone?
No. So you had to buy them separate.
This is what was nuts. I will say this. I've always been a big proponent of this. I love the competition between Apple and Samsung because Samsung, historically, last phone I had was the S4. It was trash.
Yeah,
absolute trash. Didn't touch Samsung again until the 8. That's literally how long I dropped them.
Yeah.
And that was, if you go back and look, that was when the iPhone 7 came out, and that was when Samsung realized, okay, we need to stop fooling. We need to stop fooling around. The reason why I bring them up is because they single-handedly, and they'll try to say that this is not the reason why they're doing this, but it is. The new Galaxy S10 is shipping with their version of the AirPods. Like you buy a phone, you get them.
You get them.
And I'm like, I freaking love the market. Like I love like what people have to do. Like when somebody's great,
So,
how
like how
everybody
extra you have to go to just even try to stay within that.
And that's the thing, when the X came out, and then now like with the XR, when the X came out, when they were showing off all the stuff they were doing with the camera and stuff like that, the S10 is shipping with freaking the S10 Plus. It's got 5 freaking cameras on the back. And they're showing off some of the stuff that they're gonna be able to do with this, and I'm like, I feel bad for some of the cats who like do photography. So I'm like, y'all's $2,000 cameras.
Oh yeah, these phones are
y'all's like $5,000 glass that y'all are using with these cameras, bro. Yeah. It's like, I waste my money on this. That's legit, on this camera.
That's the only reason why I upgrade my phones now is just for the cameras. Like I had
100%
before. I have the 7 Plus now, and I got that about a year and a half ago maybe or something. But yeah, the reason I had gotten it, because before that I think I had the 5, but I had gotten it just because of the camera. And like I will upgrade again soon, and again it's for the camera. Mainly.
I literally bought this phone right before I went to the Bahamas, and that was the reason why.
And it's one of those because like also you can buy an expensive camera and stuff like that, but it's like I got this camera that I'm gonna have on me all the time. I know it's not like, oh man, I wish I would have brought
onboard editing software for iPhones specifically.
But
Samsung's and iPhone's onboard editing software is legit, and they got mobile suites. They got mobile Adobe suites now. Like I have Photoshop, Illustrator, Lightroom, all that stuff like on my phone. So yeah, Apple in particular has always been not necessarily the drivers of technology, but they have absolutely mastered the come in and make what you did better. Like they've absolutely mastered that. Because Android people always try to say, "Oh, we did that first." I'm like, and as an Android person, I can honestly say, yeah, we did it first. But Apple always comes in and does it better 3 months later. Like that's always been what Apple does.
And the thing that also I just thought of that why Apple is so genius is when I think it was first with the iPhone 6, that's when they removed the headphone jack. And everybody flipped out. Flipped out. But that was them thinking way ahead to the AirPods. Because it was basically, hey, we're going to get rid of the headphone jack. You guys are going to freak about it now, but this is going to help us better sell these products 2-3 years later.
Also, they knew too, and this is what I try to tell people at the time, nobody wanted to listen. You get rid of your headphone jack because there are only so many ways you can make a waterproof phone. There are only so many ways you can do
true.
That. And obviously they went from 2 ports to 1 down at the bottom with the lightning down at the bottom. But I knew back then, I was like, y'all understand this is coming. Samsung's doing the same thing. It won't be long until Samsung's headphone jacks are gone. Because they've already, I don't even know how they do it now. They've got a waterproof phone down to 10 feet, no case, with a headphone jack and a power port on it. I'm like, how do you even manage that?
That's wild.
So it's coming for Apple. Apple's going to have a completely waterproof phone, and y'all think they're playing because they've had water resistance for the past 2 models. These cats are not playing around.
And I mean, in the next couple of years, the lightning jack itself is going to disappear because they're basically moving to wireless charging.
Oh yeah, well you saw what the S10's doing. You can. I don't even know how this works. You can charge somebody else's phone with your phone.
That's dumb.
Imagine.
I feel like you gonna get my data or something. Nah, that seems so sketchy. Hey, bro, let me just borrow your phone and charge mine. Nah, dog.
Because you know how the end of every Apple
that reminds me of that app. You remember when the iPhones first came out? It was like the bump app where you bumped. It was like you bumped iPhones and it basically shared contacts with someone.
Oh yeah,
and I was like,
that's when and they did that, and that was when Android followed up and started doing the NFC stuff, where you could literally touch phones and transfer data. They're doing it now, literally to where, and you know how because every Apple does this, Samsung does really well. Every commercial, the punchline is at the end. They'll show you all this cool stuff, and you're like, dang, all right, that's dope. That's dope. And the last thing they show you is always that what moment. That's what they did with the S10, where it's they show you the screen, they show you how fast it is, yada yada, and at the end they literally have 2 phones touching each other and the battery going up, and I was like, wait, huh? How? But yeah, these cats, mobile technology, and I was talking to a former student about this who's into photography right now. Mobile technology is going to put photographers in a tight spot. at least the guys that have already invested thousands into their cameras,
Yeah.
it's gonna put them in a tight spot because there are people out here with Galaxies and iPhones that have been doing professional shoots. They've been doing it for the past couple of years.
And part of the other thing with like your iPhone, it's like you take the photo, you can edit on your phone quickly, boom, and throw it on Instagram. Take it on a camera, gotta upload it to a computer.
That's right.
Do all that stuff. So it's just like, yeah, this is way more easier, way more convenient. I can do almost everything the same. Like, yeah, it's a wrap for cameras soon. Or like you're just gonna see prices drop significantly, and that market's just gonna die.
A lot of the people that are going to I wouldn't say it's gonna.
It won't completely die.
Yeah, I just foresee it being like sporting events and
concerts, big
concerts.
Stuff. Yeah,
like that's basically what.
It's basically like cameras. Those cameras will still like, at least for the next couple of years, still outshine where like you need it for like concerts, big venues, stuff where like especially at night those cameras are great, or like in dark venues and stuff like that with the flash and all the different like that part of it. But other than that, like every day I'm gonna just keep upgrading every couple of years.
If you want to get an idea of how long it's gonna take for cameras to phase out of like the mainstream, my phone, which is last year's model, shoots in 4K. My phone from last year shoots in 4,000 pixels. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Last year's model. So if you want to, you can come up with your own timetable as how long you think cameras are gonna last, because I remember when YouTube. You remember this? When YouTube started putting up 4K videos, and we were like, "Oh my god!" Well, congratulations, there are phones that shoot in 4K now.
Yeah,
and those were last year's phones. So yeah, now Apple, I love it. I freaking love it. Apple's always kind of been an improver on the current market, but no, I think them and Disney's thing is going to be separate. I don't even like how do exclusive rights work? Like Apple's gonna start putting out their own content, which is dumb.
Yeah.
Obviously, Disney's got enough content without their streaming service to be able to like populate a ton of their stuff.
Disney's just gonna throw all their stuff on there alone, and everyone's gonna sign up for it.
Yeah.
Apple's gonna be interesting because they're way late into the game and they don't necessarily have. Although, like. Because I feel like Apple is tied in a way with Pixar, because Steve Jobs played a big role in like making Pixar a thing. Like when they were bringing Pixar, like there's Ed Catmull. Yeah. He's like one of the co-founders of Pixar. He wrote this book, Creative Inc., and I read it, and it kind of talks a lot about like just the come up of Pixar, their different, their unique animation style, computer animation, and all that, and like Steve Jobs played a huge part in that. So I don't know if those like stakes, like if it was solely tied to Steve Jobs or also tied with Apple, but I feel like I wonder if Pixar is tied with Apple in some way, where maybe Apple could get those, and even if not, I'm sure like Apple and Disney would work out a deal.
Yeah, I had to go back and check. Their association with Apple was pretty strong, but they are currently a subsidiary of Walt Disney Animation Studios.
Pixar, okay. Yeah, I knew they were, but I wasn't sure if they were connected. Yeah, because
Disney were early on, because they were, Catmull and
so that's that makes sense, because Disney bought them. So Disney bought them outright. Yeah.
Well, because that was messy. I remember when this happened, because if you remember, Pixar and Disney Animation Studios were separate, and then they started partnering together on movies.
And that's when you got the stupid string of movies. Oh my god!
What many consider the golden age of animated movies was when they had partnered, and they were still technically like separate.
Yeah.
But then there was kind of like there was some crazy stuff that kind of went on with those two sides. Ultimately ending in
it was basically one of those things where it seemed like it was just dating without a label, and it was like, all right, go ahead and make it official.
That's a great way to call it. But it's nuts too, because I think about the stuff that's not even Pixar, and like Disney acquired Fox for $71 billion. $71 billion.
Yeah,
and it didn't quite.
And it was crazy because the initial bid was 35, and then Comcast got in, and it was like
what was Comcast doing?
Comcast was just doing that just to like be jerks. I feel like
I bet. I feel like they did it
funny
just so
because,
they can say that they were in the bidding.
Yeah,
they were in the
to
bidding,
like be in the bidding. But it was one of those like it didn't even phase Disney. I feel like Comcast probably came in and was all like, "We'll give you 37 million." Disney was like, "We'll give you 71." Comcast was like, "All right, good day to you, sir."
Yeah, Comcast hopped in, and Bob Iger had to like look at his calendar and go, "When does the Infinity War trailer drop?"
Yeah.
When does the Frozen trailer drop?
Yeah. And I think that's part of why like it took forever to finalize, because this like it had been, well, the other part of it also was like I think the deal was going through court because everyone was just like, yo, is like, can they do that? Can they buy literally the whole competition?
Bananas, dude.
It's so wild. Which
by the way too, and I was just thinking about the money, and not just the money, because the thing that has frustrated me with certain companies is once you corner a market, or they're at least in a like regionally dominated market, and I think a lot about like out here the way Time Warner did.
Yeah.
Time Warner got lazy and they got fat. It's why their customer service is bad. It's why they can charge us,
man. I hate
it's why they get charged the way that they get charged, and this is where I kind of have beef with Verizon. Verizon, at the very least, backs it up with when they say we got the best service, they actually have the best service.
Yeah,
but it's the reason why Verizon prices are the way they're at, because they know that they're best.
They know they're
Time
the best.
Warner ticked me off because it got to the point where their service wasn't even the best. But they like there were places in North Carolina where it's like your only option was Time Warner. The crazy thing about Disney is Disney cares so much about their brand that they will literally change content to avoid bad press.
Yeah.
They will literally change content. Like, a lot of people outside of the video game industry don't know this, but there's this game that came out, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think it was last year or the year before. And before the game even came out, people were like, yo, you need to get rid of these microtransactions. Not 2 weeks later, the cast from the studio got called into the office of Disney's CEO, and Disney was like, "Yeah, we're gonna fix this, or else." Imagine working on a video game, like not even like a Disney thing, Star Wars, and getting called into the CEO of Disney's office.
Like the game hadn't even gone out yet.
No, and they were like, "Listen, this is not gonna be what day one is gonna be like, or else." I was like, "Yikes!"
Get 'em.
But like they care so much about. Have you seen the Frozen 2 trailer,
bro?
What is going on?
Hold on. I saw it the first time when I went to go see Captain Marvel with Trevor. We were sitting there in theaters, and the trailer played, and the trailer got done, and I was like, I'm sold. Perfect.
Yes.
Best trailer, because I have no damn idea what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
They didn't tell me nothing, and I was like they're gonna obviously release another trailer once it gets closer to the date. But that first trailer was just so perfect. I know. I hope they don't, because literally, like when I heard originally they were making another Frozen, I was like, okay, y'all are just milking this. But I saw that trailer, and it was just so well done, where I was just like, one, it looks completely different from the first movie. It looks like dark. It looks like some issues about to go down in it. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're facing. I have no idea what the plot is. I just know something's about to go down, and I'm in. I'm down.
And it's so crazy to be using Frozen as an example as to how Disney never seems content with where they're at, because. And you said you saw it for the first time when you went and saw Captain Marvel, which that's insane. The first time you saw that trailer was on the big screen, which I imagine was ridiculous.
Bro. Yeah, it was made ridiculous. It even more.
Because if you remember, the first shot is just the ocean.
Yeah,
I had no idea what I was watching at first, because all you see is water, and you're like, that water's real. I thought I was looking at a live action trailer.
Oh yeah,
up until you see her, and you're like,
and legit, all the scenery looks real except her.
Real.
Yeah.
Like she freezes the water and the wave like cracks the ice from underneath, and she just gets like taken over. That whole thing is nuts. But Disney,
so
bro,
there's that
Disney
one
nuts.
Pixar movie. It was the one with the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I think it might have been called
It was into the good something dinosaur.
The Good Dinosaur.
Was it?
Yes,
That's
The
what I
Good
thought.
Dinosaur.
So that's one I need to go back and watch because apparently like that one didn't get received as many like critically acclaimed like reviews and stuff
Right.
like that and all, but apparently that was like one of the more realistic animated movies
Yes.
ever. It was one of those is like
Yes.
they spent so much time on the animation and stuff.
Yes.
Like
I
if
did
you didn't know
not-
better, you would thought it was real life.
I didn't appreciate that movie, and I watched it with my nephew because it was like when it came out, it was like his favorite movie
Yeah.
ever.
Actually, I might have
watched
seen
it-
that. I think I
watched
might have
it
seen that.
again. Like when I watched it a second time, I was like, "Yo, Pixar does not play. Disney in general, they don't play games. And here's the thing about
They're
Pixar.
so good.
Their worst movie is Cars 2, and this is how you know it's their worst movie. They low key pretend that movie never existed when
Oh, yeah.
Cars 3 came out.
Skip right
They
over
low
it.
key
Skip
pretended
right
that
over it.
movie never existed. What's their next worst movie? Wall-E.
People
That's a
love
pretty good. That's a
Wall-E.
pretty darn good track
People
record.
love Wall-E.
I know. Or Brave. You know when Brave is your worst movie, you're probably
yeah.
like off to a pretty good.
It's like,
you got a pretty good
You
track
got the best
record.
bottom 3 movies ever.
Freaking the Toy Story 4 trailer dropped today.
Oh yeah,
Did you see that?
I haven't seen it yet. Because this is basically the last one, right? Like
I mean, we'll see. We thought 3 was the last one.
no, the way they've been talking about it with like Tom Hanks and a bunch of the guys, like the people
they
that
done?
voice it, it seems like this is the
I
last
did
one.
see some Twitter stuff with Tom Hanks specifically.
Yeah, where they were
sounded
very
like it was their
emotional, and it
last.
was like,
Yeah.
and I think it should end like right here. They don't need to milk it. If they're Pixar, so they're gonna end it in the best way possible. And part of it, I think, also it's like, yeah, you can keep I'm sure you can keep finding storylines to go to
Right.
5, 6, or whatever. But I feel like 3 or 4, that's like a good
Yeah.
point to end it.
I'm not entirely sure, and obviously there's trilogies that as an adult I enjoyed more, but as far as sheer quality goes, I'm not sure if there's a better trilogy to have existed than Toy Story. Like the more I think about it, I'm like, quality wise, I'm just not sure if
so
there's a
good.
better trilogy to
So
have
good.
ever been made. And again, quality wise, whether you like it or not, it's Lord of the Rings, Toy Story, and I challenge somebody to bring up another trilogy because it's just
Pirates
it's
of the
hard to do.
Caribbean.
Hey, yeah, those first 3 were lit. People I feel like
bro.
I feel like
the first
3.
Pirates of the
I feel
Caribbean.
like 3 is like Kanye's 808s, bro. The more
Oh,
time
dude.
that passes, people realize At World's End
Bro,
was a lit movie.
At World's End is one of the best movies ever. Like
I freaking love
it
that
is
movie.
so good.
It's just
And
good
the latest one that came out is so absurdly ridiculous. But y'all like Fast and Furious. At least this from the
Thank you.
from the get go with this, they you knew it was gonna be fiction and Fast and Furious started with just normal street racing and stuff. Now these
And look, listen, they
oh
got
my gosh.
they got the old squad back for this next one. That's all I care about. As long as Jack's in it, bro, that's really all that matters, bro.
No, I don't think he in it anymore, bro.
Bruh, how?
I don't think
The way the last one ended, they had everybody back together again.
I don't think he in it
Wow.
because I think they're relaunching it. They're relaunching the whole
Okay,
series,
yeah, I'm cool with
and
that.
so they're recast. But that's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll get somebody, but
They're-
it's
yeah.
just they're gonna have to do it
Johnny
so well
Depp
because Johnny
has-
Depp is
oh my
ingrained.
gosh.
That's how I fell in love with Johnny Depp through Pirates of the Caribbean
Curse of the Black
series.
Pearl was a game changer movie wise.
Yeah,
That was a game changer.
yeah.
That movie was fantastic. That brought swashbuckling back.
No, those first 3 movies were so good, and
I don't want to hear any Dead Man's Chest slander. That's my
No.
favorite one. That's my bruh. Davy Jones. Oh my gosh, bro.
so good.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear it. No, I want to hear any Dead Man's Chest slander. That movie was legit.
The whole first 3.
Man.
I like the 4th also. Where I think they did 4 and 5, right? I
Yeah,
feel
Dead
like-
Man Tell No Tales and
something. I know the title. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. Oh well, it's not important.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to finish up with before we head up with is I was listening to this podcast, and at the end of it, came on like an advertisement for for a different podcast, and it was basically like, I don't know if you've heard, there's like a Ron Burgundy podcast that they've started, which like it's like a great idea, and also I feel like, gosh, like it's such an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those, it's like, I don't know, it just fascinates me because I feel like that's so much work as far as like the actor. Because I feel like it's so much different like acting, because you could, do it if you mess up or whatever, you're iterating. Yeah, and you can kind of do the same with podcasts.
It's different. You just talking.
Yeah, you're just talking. And that's like unscripted for the most part. Like once again, I haven't listened to it, and it might be scripted and all, but it seems like basically they're taking Will Ferrell, hey, be Ron Burgundy, free to go, like unscripted or whatever. So
just go.
And I might have to go and listen to it or whatever. But as I was listening to it, I was like, who's the funniest white comedian to you? Because even like Will Ferrell, I don't know if we'd consider him a comedian. I don't know if he does stand up. He's like a funny actor.
The dude went straight from SNL to movies.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Yeah.
Well,
so I guess.
And I think he did do stand up, but like once SNL popped, like he was gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Comedian, like non
and that's why it was tough for me, because I was like, I can't even really think.
Probably like white guy. Jim Gaffigan. Pretty freaking funny. Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's because most of it, like when I was thinking, because like to me, like
because most of them are comedic actors.
Yeah, like I think Paul Rudd is hilarious, but he's an actor, more of an actor.
I feel like I would love Paul Rudd's stand up.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Oh yeah, Paul Rudd. Like one of my other like that fits in the category more of an actor, like Jason Bateman. Like he started doing more serious stuff now, and he's great in it. But like
he's the only
his whole career buildup was doing like, I mean, Arrested Development. Yes. All like he did the what was the movie with like Horrible Bosses? Yeah. Like all those stuff.
Did you see Game Night?
Game Night's hilarious.
That was legit.
Game Night was so good.
Which, by the way, I need more Jason Bateman and what's her name?
Was Winston in that also?
Yes.
Winston was in that? Yeah, that was great.
Coach from Friday Night Lights. All these like random off the wall.
There's
matter of fact, they had two Friday Night Lights characters in here.
Yeah, because they had the ginger dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, man, that movie. Another movie I saw on my flight back from Vegas. I watched Tag. That was really good.
I heard that was super
Tag,
underrated.
It was super under. Like I really enjoyed it. It was super funny.
Rachel McAdams in Game Night. I need more Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. Those two were freaking fantastic.
They were so good. Yeah.
Tag. Yeah. Jeremy Renner.
Oh
yeah. Dang.
James John or not. What's Nick from New Girl's name? Jake Johnson. Jake Johnson. They had.
Was it Hamm?
John Hamm.
John Hamm was in there.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it was a stacked.
Sheesh.
Stacked. And they had Buddy from Hangover.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I always forget his name.
Nardog.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
such a good movie. But yeah, I don't really know any white comedians. Like, I can't really think of any that comes straight to
I know a bunch of comedic actors. I know Zach Galifianakis did stand up for a while.
That's true. But
Zach, I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, Zach's a good one. Zach, I feel like he would be funny because his he just almost has like the way he almost talks is like if you ever watch Between the Ferns, like it's just he has such an awkward presence to him where it like makes you cringe, but at the same time you can't stop watching. And so one of those, I feel like watching his stand up, I'd just be like, I'd feel uncomfortable the whole time. And it's not like material, and I'm sure some of the materials, but it would just be like, why are you so awkward? But also, I'm
Right.
so intrigued.
Right,
And, like,
right.
this is hilarious.
No,
God.
it's funny because I look at this list. Louis C.K. hard pass.
Mm-mm.
I've never been a Jerry Seinfeld guy.
No,
never been my type. John Mulaney's pretty funny. The rest of these dudes, I'm kind of like David Cross, hard pass. Yeah, like now, okay, Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt is funny.
He's
Oswalt,
the short dude, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, like I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. And now that I think about it, all the best comedians are brown folk, bro.
It really is. And it didn't even start off with me. It was legit me listening to that Ron Burgundy thing, and I was like, I was intrigued by it, but I was like, I don't want to listen to. But part of, like, I was listening to it, and I was just like, I feel like this for a movie would be good, but like as far as a podcast, I don't feel intrigued to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And even like I enjoyed Anchorman and stuff, but it wasn't like one of my top movies or anything like that. Like, it's not something like.
Gosh, I'm even thinking like way back, man. Like Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby,
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy, and all obviously Kevin Hart.
I mean, the last
Chappelle,
like the last
Gabriel Iglesias.
I mean, during that time, the biggest comedian name I feel like was Dane Cook, and he fell off the map
hard. Matter of fact, he's just now starting trying to come back.
Yeah, I saw. He's like doing touring now and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and like I think he's got something on Netflix.
Other than that,
but
though, after 07,
yeah,
my man disappeared.
gone.
George
Yeah.
Lopez, like I literally like I'm thinking about the
like-
greats, bro. Like the greats.
yeah, like
all
even
minorities.
like Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias,
Gabriel.
like
God, dude.
hilarious.
Oh my god.
George Lopez, funny. Like, but like as far as white comedians, there's none that come to mind or none that I'm like.
You have to go way back, like George Carlin. Like
Yeah.
you have to go way back to get some of that stuff. But
Which
other than
is-
that,
That's basically it.
not close.
Not even. So,
Hungry? Grab a Snickers.
bro.
I've been waiting. I've been sitting here not wanting to open this thing into the mic. That's why it's been.
When you said I didn't even see the Snickers at first, I was like, I mean, I am
Just
hungry.
sit
I
there.
do need to get some food before we do this draft.
Right.
Speaking of this draft,
Ooh.
so we're doing an NCAA
What time
tournament
is it?
draft type thing.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy, bro.
Bro, legit. I know about Duke, UNC. After that,
Yes.
nothing.
Yes.
Dude.
I can't wait. It's
Bro,
chaos. I feel like
it's-
Megan about to swoop in here and take all our money.
So I don't know if I gotta figure out if James is
Who's
James
our,
is
who's
supposed
our
to.
eighth?
I think it's supposed to be James, but he never got back to me. I gotta call him. It might have to be Megan. I explained it to her, but I think she didn't understand it because she replied. She said, "Nah,
about
dude,
to-
I'm good. My
she about
bracket
to-
is trash." I was like,
No, she about to thieve all of our money. I can't. I hate this.
"So if
I hate
James doesn't
this.
show up, I'm gonna just explain it to Megan,
I
and then
hate
I'm gonna
this.
be like,
Oh my
listen,
gosh.
you're gonna need to jump in this."
Yeah.
But no, this is like the first year, yeah.
Ugh.
And this is why I wanted to do this like draft thing with the money and all, because it's like I have no idea about any of this team.
Yeah.
So this is gonna force me to at least like keep up with these 8 teams and like it helps me keep up with the tourney. Because if we're honest, like March Madness is overrated because like the first 2 rounds are exciting, and then from there the games go downhill real quick.
They're for the most part. Yeah, the middle rounds tend to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
like once you get past round 64 and round of 32, and like Sweet 16 and beyond, it like the games.
You're waiting for the you're waiting for the Final Four.
Yeah,
That's
you're
what waiting
basically playing for the Final Four because it's just the teams that are Cinderella stories and stuff. It's like, oh, it's cute, y'all are here.
for. Now you can
Y'all
die.
can
get
exit
killed
now.
by 25 points.
Yeah. And every year you get like the cool, like last year it was Loyola and like how they made it all the way to Final Four and stuff.
I will
And
say this.
last year's
we got a handful of like where did you come from schools.
oh yeah,
this
it's
year.
like Gardner Webb. I heard
Gardner Webb's in it. Liberty University's in it as a 12 seed, not as a 16
Bro.
seed. As a 12 seed.
I'm
There's a
sorry.
handful.
I'm sorry it took us this long to acknowledge this. But boy, NC State ain't making it.
Okay, let me say this. Let me say this.
Still so funny.
Completely objective.
Bro,
and I know you can only be
funny.
so objective because I'm a UNC fan across the table from me.
So
As a Duke fan,
funny.
I will say this as objectively as I possibly can.
Oh, they deserve to be in it, but
Look,
that junk is hilarious.
Y'all have not once every. Y'all have a reason to be in. Y'all have merit. There's merit.
Yeah.
But I need y'all to stop acting like y'all got robbed because you didn't get this was a surprise.
Yeah.
This is not a surprise.
You're in a pool of like 2-3 other schools that are just feel the same way.
It's tough. I get it. Y'all have to play.
And it happens every year. Y'all
had 5 games against Duke, UNC, and Virginia. All 1 seeds.
Yeah.
I understand. Going 9-9 in the ACC.
But it's like, Virginia
should be acknowledged.
Virginia and all these other schools in the ACC have to play Duke and UNC multiple times also. It's like
it's a gauntlet for everybody.
Yeah, you complaining about that. Yeah.
Wake Forest, the mid-level teams in the ACC are and that's why when we were in Charlotte, the one thing I thought of after walking away from Friday night was I better not hear anybody talk about their Bobo conference ever again.
Nah.
Because as I'm scrolling through and I'm talking to cats on the other side of the country who are watching the game that I'm at, everybody's watching the ACC semi. Everybody in the country is watching the game.
But part of that,
nobody talking about their Bobo conference ever.
I mean,
ever again.
And part of that has just been the Zion effect. Not even as a Duke fan or stuff I heard someone talking about this later because it's you didn't even get this kind of coverage for that Kentucky team that had DeMarcus, John Wall, all those dudes. I've yet to see a team or even a player get covered this much.
It's been totally not want to say unfair, but those cats paved the way for the amount of coverage that Zion's getting right now.
Yeah, they did.
You look at how much talent is in the league right now that came out of Kentucky at once, really in a span of 3 years. That 3-year span of Kentucky was unreal.
And it's crazy because
absolutely unreal.
Coach K had slowly started doing that, but it was one player at a time.
Right.
And then Coach K was just kind of watching that and was like, screw this. I'm changing my whole game plan.
Yeah, I'm doing
and
it
bro
right
just
now.
went in. And it basically eclipsed itself in this year.
8 McDonald's All-Americans.
Yeah, it eclipsed itself this year where he basically had the top 4 out of 5 players in the whole country between
here's what's crazy.
RJ, Zion, and Cam.
Duke got a commitment from Marquise Bolden. Many of you that are listening to this podcast just now said, who?
Exactly.
And that's exact. He was a top 10 recruit nationally. And when you think of Duke, if you watch college basketball, when you think of Duke, you're thinking RJ, you're thinking Zion, you're thinking maybe Cam Reddish, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I
mean, Jack White is a freaking.
He was a hooper coming out of high school.
Yeah, he was a top.
And we got Duke
prospect.
fans complaining that he won't hit a shot.
I know. This is garbage self. He definitely sticking around for another year, but hopefully he could fix his shot.
Duke's gonna be a problem because they're probably gonna return Trey Jones if he's smart.
Trey Jones will return. Jack White will return.
They're gonna be a problem.
And it will be if those two.
I feel like
because they have Deloria they'll have this team has a good amount of people that will return. Yeah,
they should all if they send Morton to the NBA, whoever is not RJ and not Zion is stupid.
But
you need to stay.
And that's the other issue. I've been having. I wish Frank Jackson had stayed last year. And
he was the one that surprised me because he went to New Orleans, I think.
Yeah,
low and second round.
Yeah, and I think he's been dealing with some injuries, and so he's been coming back from that.
Yeah.
But I wish he would have stayed. But and part of the problem with kind of just this format Coach K's taking now is basically you bringing in this guys. Part of it's they're almost forced out of the door in a way because it's all right, dude, got you for a year, but you're gonna kind of need to keep it moving because I got 3-4 more dudes coming, and I need to clear up scholarship money for them and stuff like that. So that's where it gets interesting, and I feel like some guys feel like they have to go because they know their playing time is going to go down.
This is why, and I don't want to be disrespectful to what the Carolina-UNC rivalry has been because it has given college basketball some of the greatest games to have ever been played. That being said, we are about to be ushered into a fantastic era of Carolina Duke basketball because Duke is at its absolute peak of pulling in top 10 recruits, and UNC is at its absolute peak. And I hope for those of you that saw Kobe White, y'all understand, and Nazir Little, y'all understand. The reason why UNC is a problem because they get some cats to stay, and they're still able to bring in top 10 recruits. That is like UNC and Duke are. I hope you get used to this because UNC is going to return half their team, and they're going to fill in with. Oh my gosh, I always forget this point guard's name. If you don't know his name now, you will. He's going to be a one and done, just like Kobe is. But Duke UNC are going to be running this thing for the next probably 3 or 4 years until the recruits dry up, and they're going to go right back.
Or until NBA allows 18-year-olds to go straight to the
We're just going to be foregoing it all together.
We're not, especially after the Zion stuff. They've already started working on that, and I think
a little faster now. On that.
I think they're going to do it. Like part of it, like. The NBA doesn't owe the NCAA anything, and they hate the NCAA. If we're being honest,
yeah,
just like because they do a lot of garbage crap anyway. So it's like,
because the NBA finds a way to benefit everybody. Thing is, you always want to benefit yourself more.
Yeah,
like let's not get it twisted. The NBA wants to profit the most. The
Yeah.
problem with the NCAA is they take it so far as to go, we're going to try to make it to where we're going to pay coaches, and that's about it.
We're going to rack in.
The rest of the money is going to come to us.
They just released a commercial today where it's like
you saw that, right?
Yeah, the athlete and student craft,
Yeah.
whatever. And like all these NBA players have just been roasting the tweet and stuff. And it was just like,
you
part
paid
of it
the
is just like,
actors.
yeah,
You
part
paid
of it was just like,
Some
bro,
bums.
there was the funniest one I saw was Kuzma. He was all like, "Oh yeah, no, that's accurate because I ain't seen him eat once yet the whole day." And I was like, "Oh, that's good."
Where did Kuzma go to school?
He went to Utah. He went to Utah.
That's right.
He went to
Right.
Utah.
I knew he was in the Pac-12.
Yeah. But no, it's just it's one of those like
Accurate.
you guys pulling billions off of March alone.
Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
y'all try to like feed all this like crap to us about
You got them commercials of
integrity,
Zion
all that.
Dunking.
Yeah,
And you know all.
and we know all
my
these
God.
like one and done kids aren't going to classes or stuff like, or like, it's one of those like if we're being honest,
they're only going to 2 semesters worth of school.
yeah, they're taking just chump change classes and stuff. It makes no dang sense. So it's like the NBA is gonna work out in a way where like even if like I would rather go to the NBA for a year, get paid,
Or the G League.
get paid half a million to get to learn from NBA players and stuff, and they say, "Oh, you don't get to competition and stuff." Bro, they scrimmage all the time. That alone, like
Bruh.
getting like scrimmage time, like that's gonna provide you all the time to like learn and stuff.
You want to get your mind changed about that? Watch one G League game in the first 2 months of the regular season. Watch one G League game. Because
Those dudes are hungry.
Oh, yeah, because I think after a certain point, you have to decide the people who are on your two-way contracts if they're going to stay down and they're going to stay on the big roster.
Yeah.
You watch the first 2 months worth of G League and tell me that that's not good comp and that's not worth it for somebody to do. That's the reason why NBA can't stand the NCAA, because the NCAA.
No, I want to see the NCAA get taken. I hate the NCAA.
Oh,
Part of it just stems back to the stuff with USC because it's just one of those. It's like they have a terrible checks and balances type of like where it's just everything is arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's I don't know, it's wild, but we gotta get on out of here. So we'll catch y'all later.
Shoes on.
Yeah, gotta get my draft on. I have no. This is gonna be rough. I'm gonna just.
Happy March, everybody. Good luck.
Yep.
Hope y'all make a few dollars.
Get your brackets in.
Yeah.
And go Duke. Come on, Zion.
Hey,
Mount Zion all the way.
Baby.
Mount Zion all the way.
Can we please get a Tar Heel Duke final?
No, I don't think the
Heart
country. The problem with that is Literally, that's the end of the rivalry.
Yeah.
That's the end of the rivalry.
Because there's never been.
Yeah. And that's why.
And there probably will never be again.
Yeah. And
if it were to happen.
Yeah. That's one of those. Once that happens, it's over. Like, because no matter what happens, the other side, you can't ever talk.
Oh, my God, dude.
You can't
social
ever.
media would be obnoxious.
It'd be over. I would not watch the game, and I would not go on social media for, like, just. I couldn't
Months.
do it. I hate watching, like, Duke UNC games because it's just.
Oh, bro.
It's so hard to watch because it's just people are irrational as hell. Like,
it's one of the reasons why for this one I was glad I was there in person because I was just so.
Yeah.
There's no like everything. You're just kind of there.
Like I was telling you when I was watching on TV, they would just zoom in on. I was like, y'all are way too
get the heck up. That's what
like,
Jess.
I get super invested in the sports, but I'm just y'all. That's more like just blood. Like y'all trying to run on the court and kill Zion or something like that.
What,
like
so
geez.
even like the way
Chill
stuff's
out.
covered. Like Jess, I was texting Jess, and Jess was like, "Be glad you did not have to watch this on ESPN."
Oh yeah, ESPN is on his job.
Ridiculous, and I was like, "Yeah, I can't even imagine what that's like." But go Tar Heels, let's ride, bro. We gonna get this whole thing started, bro.
Should be a good one. All right,
started, bro.
Catch y'all next week. We outie.
Bye.